The Fake Baseball Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. It's also the fastest growing fantasy app in the industry. Underdog Fantasy lets you draft a fantasy team in just minutes. Sign up with promo code FAKEBASEBALL to claim your special pick plus first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. With their slick mobile app and user-friendly website, you'll have no problem jumping in and drafting your team. I am a big fan of the pick'em games. I love picking higher or lowers. I'm still rocking with the Luis Arraez higher on hits lately, and also a sneaky one. Julio Rodriguez higher on hits has been great lately as well. Same with Big Dumper higher on RBIs. So make sure you guys go check that out. Underdog Fantasy. Use code FAKEBASEBALL for that 50% deposit bonus on your first deposit up to $500. Must be 18 and over, 21 and over in select states and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to which is 467-369. All right, everybody. The Fake Baseball Podcast is back. I'm trying to have a little more energy at the beginning of these. So this is what you get. It's been a week. We are back. It is Blake Meyer here with my man once again, Dylan Lydell. Dylan, how are you doing today, man?
Doing good, man. I'm doing good. Brian Wu just came back clean, so that's another good thing that's happening today. Yeah, just capped off a busy week chasing the boys around. Yeah, man. What's going on with you?
I mean, nothing great. If you guys can't tell, it's Wednesday. We're recording our first episode on Wednesday. Traditionally, it happens Monday or Tuesday. I got a water leak in the roof on Monday, which turned my house into a construction zone yesterday.
Man.
So it made it kind of hard to record. I still have a hole in my ceiling downstairs, so still trying to get that figured out somehow. But the show must go on, so here we are. I'm ready to talk
onward
some baseball.
And upward. It'll be all right. We'll get it taken care of.
Exactly. And the Mariners are getting things taken care of, too. I want to just start with them real quick. As you guys know, this is a fantasy baseball podcast, but it is also a pseudo Mariners podcast as well. We talk about whatever we want, especially the Seattle Mariners. And they have been weirdly good bad.
Just like, kind of riding the wave.
The record's great, but the offensive production hasn't been good.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan, am I crazy to think that Seattle just needs to hurry up and lock down Big Dumper to a 10-year deal like the Dodgers did with Will Smith?
Yeah, they need to get him locked up ASAP. And I mean, do they give guys There we go. Are we back? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Are we there? Okay. All right. Yep. I apologize. Yeah, I don't know. Like, did Julio got locked up midseason, right? It wasn't an off-season deal. Luis, same thing, right? So who knows? I don't know if there's been any discussions of it. The Mariners are pretty private in what they let out to the public in the beat with that kind of stuff. So it could literally pop up at any time. He has a Scott Boras client, which I think is the one kind of, derailer here. So he may wait until the offseason just because Boras likes to get his guys the most money possible. Didn't really work too well this offseason. But, man, yeah, I really do hope he gets locked up because he's so important to not only like the team, but like what he means to the pitching staff. He calls a great game. He throws guys out. He's a sniper behind the plate. But man, like he's just got that clutch gene too. Like I don't know who it just finds some people.
He really does
happens to have it. And yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I hope they lock him up because right now there's no bat more important to the Seattle Mariners than Cal Raleigh. Julio's been great lately, but he's not necessarily clutch, which is okay. It feels like right now that's just what it's going to be for Julio. He's not going to always come up in the big moments, which is fine if you have somebody else that can. Big Dumper can, dude.
No,
Cal
it's
Raleigh.
like it's
There was
11
no
out of 10
doubt in my
times he's
mind
coming
last
through.
night when he came up to bat that something was happening.
Right.
Exactly. I was so unsurprised at the RBI double to take the lead. Just like that's what it's going to be. And it's so fun to watch.
9 RBIs in the last 3 games?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you ask Dave Sims,
run.
it's 8 because he said
that was a bad
Raleigh
miss.
hit a game-winning 3-run home run. That was
bad
terrible.
Miss.
But yeah, so it's been fun to be a Mariners fan early in the season for once. I think they have a 6-game lead over Texas for second place right now, which
6.5. Yeah.
When does that ever fucking happen in Seattle this early in the season? So we actually have fun baseball to talk about for us instead of the doom and gloom that it usually is at this point in the season. But before we move further, I have to ask you, because we texted about it a little bit. I think it was like 2 days ago. Do you want the Mariners to make a move for Luis Robert Jr., or do you not?
The more I see talk about it, the more I'm talking myself out of it. I can't pull man, he's got to check off all the boxes if you're giving up a Feldman plus maybe a Colt or whatever it is, like people are throwing out there. That makes me extremely uncomfortable. The health being the biggest thing. I just don't know. Like, this could just be a player that does have that injury thing and just never goes away. I just think the price tag is too steep. It's really got nothing to do with the talent. I just think the price tag is too steep for the big injury box not being checked off. I would just rather put the chips elsewhere, honestly.
I do understand, but I think I'm so all in on the Luis Robert Jr. trade that I can't be talked out of it. I think they need to do it. Yeah. I did some crazy math the other day. It took me way too long. I tweeted it out. It took me way too long to tweet. It was one of those ones that, like, by the time I was done, I was wondering why the fuck I just spent 25 minutes doing that. But if you take out Luis Robert Jr.'s 2021, where he played like 68 games or whatever it was, like where he got hurt early in the season, take that out, he averages 112 games a season. Obviously, that's not great because you play 162. But when you put it in those terms, that's not necessarily terrible. And his average over 112 game span is 48 extra base hits, hitting 275 with an OPS over 800. That is 2022 Cal Raleigh. If he had a 40-point higher or over the course of the next 3 years, I don't know what I would rather have than that, because he also plays elite defense. He has a damn near 80 grade hit tool. It's probably a 70 grade hit tool. He's got enough speed. Last year, he stole 20 bases. And last season, he had 75 plus extra base hits and 20 plus stolen bases. That's only 12 players have done that in the last 12 seasons. And none of them did it in fewer plate appearances than Luis Robert Jr. did it last season. I just feel like the talent is too special. He's too young, and he would look too damn good in the outfield next to Julio. The injury box sucks, so there is a little bit of a hope and a prayer there that he can stay healthy. But it is one of those things that if he does stay healthy, oh my God, this offense looks so good with Luis Robert out there.
Yeah.
And I understand there's a lot of people that are going to be like, oh, he's got a 40% strikeout rate right now, and he's hitting like 210. He's played like 18 games this year. The dude, he averages like 280 for his career. That's the kind of hitter he is.
Yeah, I mean, given my choice, like, I think the two big names going off the board are probably going to, we'll see, but Vladdy, Robert, like, I'm taking Vladdy if I had my choice. I don't know. Like, the package for me, if I had to sign off on it, if you're talking, Feldman, Colt, Harry, like, I don't know, like some crazy names, and you're talking 2 or 3 of them. I don't know if I could sign that off for Robert Robert. I've heard it pronounced both ways. I just don't know at this point anymore. So, yeah, I just don't know. Vladdy's my choice for the big splash.
I would be cool with Vladdy too. I have my concerns with Vladdy. He's kind of regressed statistically for this is like the 4th straight year now. So I mean he's still good. He's still better than Ty. He's still an all-star first baseman. It's like he's still really good. So I don't know. All the prospects, all the top prospects that the Mariners have besides like Lazaro Montez and Johnny Farmelo are middle infielders. Colt Emerson is a middle infielder. Cole Young is a middle infielder. Felton Sulliston is a middle infielder. Whoever the hell else I'm missing right now is a middle infielder. And none of them are going to be up until like 2027. And like Harry Ford's a catcher that can't play good enough defensively at any other position at this point to be able to regularly have a spot that's not catcher. And the Mariners are on the verge of locking down Cal for a very long time. So that turns Harry's going to be gone at the deadline. So I think adding at least one of those middle infield prospects in there, honestly, any one of them, I'm okay with it because I think they're all equally potentially as great. I think Feldman might be slightly better than the rest, but
is anyone untouchable?
Is anyone Montez? I think is untouchable.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of get a feeling.
Yeah, I get that feeling from Cole and Feldman too. I think you can ship Cole Young.
Feldman maybe,
but Feldman, bro, I think he's untouchable.
Yeah, that's a good point. Feldman might be untouchable, and Montez is 100% untouchable, which leaves Colt Emerson could be moved. Colt Emerson and Harry Ford.
He's the big one,
that's
right? Like right. He's the big one. Like if you're getting rid of Colt, like yeah, that's the tough one for me because he's right on that verge.
Uncle Ted said, fuck righties. But to be fair, right-handers actually do very well at T-Mobile Park. So it could play out there. Although Mariners got a lot of righties in the lineup. So we'll have to see how that all shakes out. Why did the Mariners get rid of Kelnick? Because they thought Mitch Haniger was going to have a resurgence. And it doesn't make any sense. Kelnick's a better Dominic Canzone. I wish Kelnick was still here. But there's your Mariners talk. There's your Mariners talk for today, you guys. Outside of Mariners, though, we are going to talk about fantasy baseball, of course. And for those of you that are aware and the ones that aren't aware, I write the weekly waiver wire article for Fantasy Pros every Saturday night. Comes out Sunday. You guys can check that out over there. I tweeted out on Twitter. Their Twitter account has actually done a good job of tweeting it out, which shout out you guys because it's been 2 years now, and I think they've tweeted out fucking 8 of my articles in 2 years. And I did like 60 of them last year. But so we want to talk about waiver wire. We don't give waiver wire enough love right now, partly because of the run of guests that we've had, and just because there's been a lot of shit to talk about in the baseball world. So we're getting into waiver wire, and right out of the bat, I'm gonna fire it right to you, Dylan. Who is your number one waiver wire option right now in fantasy baseball?
Yeah, I've kind of had a beat on him in the Yahoo League. I've had him on the squad for close to 3 weeks, 4 weeks now. So haha, but my number one is Gavin Sheets. He's been swinging it in a really bad offense, like league bottom offense for Chicago. 240. Not great, but expecting batting average is 280. A little bit of bad luck. Walks a shit ton. Doesn't strike out a whole lot. Yeah, I think he's just an encouraging guy to keep an eye on. Maybe a deadline piece. Chicago flipping to get some farm depth. 14 doubles, 7 bombs, 28 RBIs. Did I just crash out? Oh no, there we go.
No, you're here.
I don't know what just happened. Yeah, no, just it sucks that he's just on a bad offense in Chicago because I think he's actually playing pretty well this year, but we just won't be able to see the full potential of it. But with summer coming around, warmer months, numbers could start looking better even with Chicago, but who knows, maybe he is a deadline piece too and goes to a better team.
Yeah, I mean, he's already got 3 home runs in June with 9 hits, 3 home runs, hitting 265. He was my number one guy on my waiver wire article this week. He's just very good, especially in the points league. And if you guys have listened before, you know we like to lean a little towards the points league side of things. He's been great in points leagues with that high walk rate. He has an OBP right now of, so was it 342? That's in June. 342 OBP. Like he's been great. He's been hitting home runs lately. The White Sox are a not very good team. He has no competition for at bats with them. Mm-hmm. So he's going to consistently get those. And I know we had the whole talk about how we're not paying attention that much to bat speed, but I will say he has an average bat speed of 72.8 miles an hour, which is about 1.5 miles an hour higher than league average. And he has a blast percentage of 15.6%, which is like 2% higher than league average. Where 2% and that sort of thing is actually a considerable difference. So he's got good bat speed, good blast rate, which we love. And so seeing him be this good this year with the high walk rate, he's not going to miss out on that. That production is just going to continue. So Gavin Sheets, great option. And I feel like maybe I should just keep it with the same team since the player that was on my list that I wrote down is on the same team. Paul DeJong. It's like essentially like a carbon copy of Gavin Sheets at this point. He has been balling out, especially as of late. He's got 5 home runs already in the month of June, which is crazy. Like he's just on absolute fire. It seems like almost every day at this point he's hitting a home run. He's got 5 in like 10 games. His last 41 plate appearances. Dude's killing it, and it's the same thing. There's nobody that's gonna fight DeJong for at bats in Chicago. So, like we said before, the best ability is availability, and if you're a guy that's just consistently playing and putting up good numbers, great option there. You got any shares of DeJong, Dylan?
No, I don't actually, but am I tripping, or like shortstop's kind of been a tough position to really lock down this year, hasn't it? Like with injuries and performance and all that
compared to previously. Yeah.
Right. Like Seager's been down, Turner's been down, Bichette's not been playing well. I mean, you got Ellie, Gunnar, they're all playing amazing. But I mean, like shortstops is if you can come across one like DeJong hitting bombs. Points league, he may bite you a little bit with the strikeouts and not walking much, but power numbers are there. He's hitting bombs, and that kind of makes up for all of that. So let's go. Yeah, I'm with it.
And then one Uncle Ted mentioned in the chat, which almost made my list. Ideal Amador for Colorado, top prospect out there. Did get the call. Decent combo of power, a little bit of pop, good amount of speed. He's a great option. We love everybody that plays at Great American Ballpark and Coors Field as their home field. So anytime you can get yourself a nice top Colorado prospect that's got some upside, Amador makes a great choice. But Dylan, who is the next person on your list for this week?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's another shortstop, kind of the same reasoning. I just wanted to get your opinion on it. That was my view on the shortstops. It's just like it's kind of gotten a little scrappy. Mason Wynn, another shortstop.
It has. That's my fault. Yeah. It has.
It definitely feels that way. But Mason Wynn, another shortstop, just kind of trying to filter out who has been playing well. I mean, nothing really jumps off the page. Hitting over 300, 3 bombs, 8 stolen bases. I did like watching this guy on defense is really fun. But runs a little bit. Makes pretty good swing decisions. Doesn't strike out a whole lot, only 18%, just under 8% on the walk. So it'll help you in points leagues a little bit. Not going to drop bombs, but should get on base. Looking up extra base hits here. 12 doubles, 2 trips. Yeah, so just under 20 extra base hits. Like, I think this is a guy to keep an eye on. Just like I said, the scarcity of shortstop this year. Who knows?
Yeah, that's my bad about the shortstop thing. I do agree because it is traditionally a position that is so deep that we do kind of overlook a lot of the guys at the top because you can either get a really good one right at the gate or you can wait a little bit. But then this year, Corey Seager has struggled and been injured. Trey Turner has been injured for a large chunk of the season. God, who else has been injured at shortstop this
Lindor.
year? Like it's just
Not injured, but
Lindor. Lindor's been playing great, but he started so slow and was like really bad at the beginning of the season. There's just so many guys that we're supposed to be good and we're supposed to be these really top end guys that just haven't been great. And so it has turned into a position that's not just, it was very plug and play coming into the season. You draft one, you put them in there because they're going to be great. You don't really got to worry about it. I mean, even JP Crawford was a sleeper for a lot of people coming into this year off of the season he had last year. We all thought he was going to build off of that. Terrible start to the season. And then he was hurt. Just, it wasn't great. I had him in a bunch of leagues and I dropped him in a bunch of leagues. I've since picked him back up. Thankfully, he cost me a bunch of fab dollars in TGFBI, but I picked him back up and he's been great lately. But it's been a really weird year for shortstops. Right. And you mentioned Mason Wynn. I am in the middle of writing my Points League Paradise article for Pitcher List. I do apologize, everybody, for how long it has taken me to get this damn article out. It's inexcusable. Just one thing after another seems to keep happening, which is slowing me down on this. But it's coming. And I can tell you guys that Mason Wynn is actually one of the people that is on that article. I like him in category leagues. Got the good extra base hits, stolen bases, like you mentioned. And points leagues, dude, he's just great. He's got a great ideal plate appearance rate, which is crucial for points leagues. And this is actually more of the player that he is than what he was last year when he hit 172. He's hitting 305 right now. I mean, in the majors, he hit 288, 258, 349, 209 back in high A ball. I'm not really worried about that, but like he has a good hit tool. He's got good extra base hit ability, and he can steal a good amount of bases. So he's rounding into form. He's not just a defensive first guy anymore. He's a legitimate fantasy baseball option, and I think people need to be paying more attention to him. I'm going to fire it off straight over to an ad break. For those of you watching in the live, we'll be back in just a second. Welcome back, everybody. We are going to fire it right over to somebody that is near and dear to our heart, because who doesn't want some more Mariners talk? Tyler Locklear has been called up by the Seattle Mariners, and he has made my list of guys I think you need to be targeting on the waiver wire. Ty France went down with an odd injury, to say the least.
Yeah.
Hitting a baseball off your heel does not traditionally send you to the IL,
right?
so it's
like wasn't it his
which
back
is
heel?
Very odd.
Yeah.
And so there was already rumblings that France may be on his way out this year, and the hope was Tyler Locklear could be somebody to take over and go from there, and he's gotten the chance. I mean, so far he's played 3 games. He's 2 for 10, which isn't great, but I mean, 2 for 9. He's hitting 222 with a double, a run scored, and an RBI. He has a great hit tool. Like, I cannot emphasize that enough. He is one of those guys that Fangraphs has his hit tool at. I mean, shout out Fangraphs for updating their player pages, but I don't know where to find half this stuff anymore. He has a great hit tool though. He's like probably a 70 grade hit tool, 60 grade hit tool for Tyler Locklear. A little bit of pop. He stole 12 bases in 2023, so he's got some wheels. He's got more wheels than Ty, that's for sure.
Probably 11 more than Ty. I was just about to say.
Absolutely. And he's got a great command of the strike zone. Great for first base spot, great for corner infield spot. Dylan, what do you think the outlook looks like for a Tyler Locklear for the rest of the season?
Another note that was brought up during his promotion was that he shouldn't be fighting for platoon or fighting a platoon battle with Rayleigh. So he should be able to get a bulk of his at bats, and I think they really do want to get a good look at Locklear before the deadline, like you were saying, to figure out what they got to do, or what to do with Ty. But yeah, I think that really stands out. Like, I mean, hasn't struck out a whole lot. Yeah, like you said, good control of the zone. I like that. If that, that's what Ty does really well too. Usually does have a good feel of the strike zone, but I just don't know if he has the pop Locklear has. So yeah, I really just want to see him get a bunch of at bats before Ty does come off the IL, and then force a decision, because I think that's best case scenario for the Mariners. If they really have their hands tied and Locklear's performed well, that puts the Mariners in a good spot, I think. So let's just hope and see if that happens.
Yeah, I really do agree with you on the fact that I think they're going to give him a long, hard look. And I think that's going to determine what they do at the deadline too, not to jump back into Mariners trade deadline stuff, but I think that's going to determine a little bit of what they do at the deadline also. If Locklear's balling out and he's the player that the organization hoped he could be and the fans hoped he could be, I don't think they trade for Vladdy at that point. I don't think they trade
the point
for Pete Alonso at that point.
He's number 27 too. Like, my dreams are already
and
dead.
I think Luis Robert comes back in. He's not giving that up either. But he's really good, and I think he helps in the points league and he helps in the categories league too. He'll be good a little bit everywhere. So make sure you guys check out Tyler Locklear. I just
Pete Alonso
hit tools, but I'm on a different player page. So
Pete Alonso was a comparison for Locklear, wasn't it?
I think so, but I don't think Locklear has that crazy home run power though. Like,
no,
he's not gonna come up and hit 50 dingers. It would kind of be nice if he did, though, right? Like, imagine he's got that kind of power, and then he also hits like 265 at the same time. That'd be crazy. Dylan, you got one more player on your list. Who is the last player you got cooked up for this list?
Former pride and joy of ours,
Uncle Ted, Trevor Bauer to the Astros would be crazy.
Yeah. Oh, that would be nuts. Very fitting though, but Noelvi Marte is my last one. Coming off suspension here real soon at the end of the month. He's going to begin rehab games. I think when was his rehab assignment supposed to start up? I think within the coming days, whenever it is. Today. Okay, there you go. Kind of jumped the gun because Cincinnati, they're kind of falling apart. A lot of injuries over there this year. He should be a defensive upgrade. I don't know if they need him in the infield at all. Like, should be a defensive upgrade at third, so they want to get him to play, get some at bats. But yeah, I don't know. Cincinnati, it looked like it was going to be a fun season for them, but it's just really falling apart really fast for them. And CES, who knows? He might also have to undergo season-ending surgery too, maybe.
Yeah, for a team that came into the season like overloaded on talent, they very quickly ran out of all that talent. And so Marte, when he gets back, he's not going to be fighting for at bats. He's just going to be in that lineup every day, would be my guess. It looks like his rehab assignment started yesterday, and he went 2 for 5 with a single, a double, and a run scored. So great start for him. He is somebody that obviously Mariners fans know very well. He was one of our top prospects out here in Seattle. We hated to see him leave, and then he joined Cincinnati last year for 35 games and did exactly what we expected. He hit .316 with 10 extra base hits, scored 15, drove in 15, and stole 6 bases. Did a little bit of everything. And he actually played pretty good defense too, which is not what Noelvi Marte was known for. So when he comes back, the benefit to trying to get him off the waiver wire is the fact that he's been out for so long this year that a lot of people have forgotten about him. At least the super passionate fantasy baseball people probably have not forgot about Noelvi Marte. But anybody that's just a step below that level of being into fantasy baseball has probably forgotten to look up Noelvi Marte and see if he's even available. So he's probably still available in your leagues right now. And if he is, you do need to add him. Just like we said with Amador earlier, how we love players that play in Colorado for the home games. We also love the ones that play Great American Ballpark. and that's where Nwubi's going to play. His power is going to play up there. Decent hit tool. He's got the speed. We've already seen with Ellie, the Reds are just letting everybody run. Like, if you want to run, go ahead and run. And I don't think that's going to change for Marte either. So that's a great choice. I'm fully in on adding Marte, and I'm actually going to look in a couple of my leagues when we get off here and add him because, admittedly, I didn't check to see if he was available. So no checking in our home league. No checking. So we have one more player to talk about. It is my last player on the list.
Yeah.
It is Mr. David Hamilton of the Boston Red Sox. The dude's been good lately, like really good. He's getting good at bats there in Boston, hitting 289 this year. He's already stole 13 bases, hit 3 dingers, scored 19 runs. He's got 8 doubles as well. He's only been caught 1 time stealing, which is awesome. I love seeing that. I think he's batting traditionally at the bottom of that Red Sox lineup. No Spencer Horwitz, Uncle Ted, not on today's episode. But he's batting traditionally lower in that Boston Red Sox lineup, which is going to hinder his run scoring and RBI ability a little bit. He's not walking quite as much as I'd like, but he's still carrying a 344 OBP. He is somebody that is going to be more helpful in category leagues because of those stolen bases. Love to see those. And he's gonna find a way to score some runs too. So he's very, very helpful in those categories and with batting average. And he is very, 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 very widely available. I don't see anybody coming in and taking ABs away from David Hamilton, at least anytime soon. So go check out David Hamilton. Dylan, you got any feelings on David Hamilton for the rest of the year?
Nah, I mean, stolen bases are cool. Like, they're a cheap man stat, but like, you can get them, but making pretty good swing decisions, using the whole field, line drives, fly balls. Like you said, hitting a lot of doubles, and just, yeah, if you can just crack down on the strikeouts and find your way on base a little bit more, draw some walks, utilize that speed, man, and see what happens and go from there. But sure. Yeah, David Hamilton. And he's a shortstop. Like, that's another thing I like. Kind of scarce position, like we were saying earlier.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Shortstop and second base, play a little bit of both. So you can get him to fill in there. But that is the list of guys that we have for you today. Uncle Ted wants you to know about Spencer Horwitz. Decent ad. Justin Martinez is a great reliever. I think is Justin Martinez who I just talked about with Dalton Feely, I think, for Arizona Diamondbacks. Dude's a strikeout machine. Definitely go check him out. If you want to hear more about him, go check out the last episode from last week with Dalton Feely from John Boy Media. Before I do the little outro thing, please, everybody, if you're watching this, go sign up for Underdog Fantasy and use code FAKEBASEBALL. This is how we at Fake Baseball make a moolah, is when you guys sign up with our code. And if nobody's signing up with our code, we're making no money. So if you're even thinking about trying Underdog Fantasy, go check it out. Please use code Fake Baseball. Get that 50% deposit match on your first deposit. Go check it out. It's well worth it. It's so much fun and it's so easy to use. And it helps put money in our pockets so that we can keep doing this a little more stress-free. But we have today's episode. And then it is 100% confirmed, episode tomorrow with Frank the Tank Fleming from fucking Barstool Sports. I don't know why my brain went blank there for a minute. Frank the Tank Fleming from Barstool Sports. And I will let you guys know right now, if you are aware of Frank the Tank, the dude is a Mets fan. The dude is electric. He is coming on the podcast right after the Mets game tomorrow. So this is going to be a later than normal stream. It's going to be around 6:15-ish Pacific time, 9:15 East Coast time. We're getting Frank the Tank Fleming fresh off of a Mets, probably lost because they suck. And it's going to be fucking electric. Like, and we're going to see how this goes. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a great episode. We do have a lot more cool things coming in store for the podcast. And I want to point out traditionally we go live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. That's what we've been rocking for a couple of months now. Everything has gone well. Facebook just implemented restrictions on who can and cannot go live.
Boo,
And we are no longer eligible to go live on Facebook. So,
boo, Facebook, boo.
Streams have now pivoted to Twitch. We do have a Twitch account. It is an affiliate Twitch account. If you guys want to subscribe on the Twitch, you can happily go do that. Just look at twitch.com/fakebaseballpod. Go follow us over there. I know there's a lot of people that do enjoy watching more on that. And if like I watch a lot of stuff on my PS5, for example, it's got the Twitch app on it. You can literally just pull us up on your PS5 and watch it on the TV instead of watching it on your phone or on your computer. You have the ability to do that now. So go follow us there. Go follow us on Twitter if you want @fakebaseball. You can watch it live there or on YouTube, just youtube.com/fakebaseballpod. We're still live everywhere, baby. It is Blake Meyer. It is Dylan Lydell. Follow us on all of our socials. Leave a 5-star rating and review. We love you guys. Appreciate you guys watching us as always. And we will catch y'all next time. The perfect ending.